Wednesday, October 13th at 7 on Your View. You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Great friends, we welcome you back inside the 7 Mile Casino studios here of Kaplan and Crew, along with Grande and the Brown Man. If you are listening on the airwaves of the mightier 1090, happy to have all those radio listeners around, whether you're in San Diego, Orange County, where I spent my weekend, in LA, anywhere around Southern California on radio. Glad to have you guys along, and welcome to the 7 Mile Casino studios. If you're watching on YouTube, today's a big day on YouTube. Mondays are always a big day because we're all keeping our eyes out to see if the Padres ultimately fire Jayce Tingler. At the time that we are broadcasting this show, the time that we are recording all of this, radio, TV, YouTube, audio podcast, at the time that we are recording this, the Padres have yet to fire Jayce Tingler. We don't know how the day will proceed, but as of right now, Jayce Tingler not quite yet fired. And hopefully between now and the time we get out, maybe the Padres will have an official decision about that, although it really shouldn't be that much of a decision. So for those of you that are on radio, for those of you that are on YouTube, today's our big day on YouTube. I mean, today's the day where the crowd comes. Everybody wants to hear about what happened this weekend. NFL football, big game tonight between the Raiders hosting San Diego at SoFi Stadium. We'll get to that story coming up in a minute. So we're just getting rolling, and we're happy to have everybody along. Radio, YouTube. Tonight, you're going to catch up to us on television. Hey, look, I got it. There's a lot of choices on TV at night, right? But you might have one TV on the game and another TV on the Kaplan and Crew show on Channel 4 San Diego, the Cox Your View Network, Channel 4 Santa Barbara, and it's 118 in Palos Verdes in Orange County. And again, on your own time with all the audio podcast platforms. Fellas, let me get you guys to both jump right in. Grande and the Brown Man. You guys tell me. I want to start with NFL football. Padres, Browner, you said it in the earlier segment. We knew that they were going to suck. We knew that these guys were limping towards the finish line. We all expect the manager to get fired. They fired some guy that's stuck somewhere in some analytics office playing on his computer all day. They let that guy go today.
Oh, should I play that?
Play what?
Screw you! You're fired!
You're fired.
You're fired!
You're fired.
Yeah, the first guy today that the Padres fired was some guy that I've never heard of before, who apparently was an analytics expert from a company called Fangraphs that they got a few years ago. And so, like I said, I perceive this guy as somebody who sits in a dungeon at Petco Park and analyzes analytics and then hands them off to AJ Preller, who then tells Jayce Tingler what to do. And they fired this guy today. And I've never heard of the guy. Have you guys?
Yes, I remember when they did it. When they hired him from Fangraphs, it kind of made a little bit of headlines that, that's the movement of analytics. That's how far we've gone now that they're hiring guys from websites like that. So yes, I do remember. And according to the Athletic report that I read earlier, he was a big player in the fact that they went out and traded for Trent Grisham. That was one of the guys that this guy wanted. So,
Yeah. Well, I don't know anything about this guy. Never heard of him. Had no impact on me. Had no impact on the Padre fan base. But again, it's just the first guy to get whacked by AJ Preller.
Yeah, the report said he left on his own. Was it fruition? Is that the right word? Don't buy that at all.
No. I don't buy it.
Anybody that's leaving right now is leaving because they got fired.
I would think so.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm not starting with baseball here this afternoon. I'm starting with football. And I'll start off. I know, Alex, you like to talk about your Vikings. Browner likes to talk about his Bears. I'll start off this afternoon talking about the Rams. And I'll go global, and then we can get more granular. Here goes. The Rams yesterday, bad. Really bad. And I'll say it like this. Matthew Stafford, for all the hype of the first 3 weeks and the win over Tampa Bay and the win over Dallas, he was bound to have a regular guy kind of game, a pedestrian-ish sort of game. Matthew Stafford's been really good through the first 3 games. Doesn't mean that everything's been perfect. There's been a little bit of luck along the way. There were balls that were batted down at the line that could have been picked. There were balls that were dropped that could have been picked. There's just been situations along the way where he hasn't been perfect, but you would have to really watch the game to start nitpicking all the different things that could have gone wrong. Well, guess what? Yesterday they went wrong. Stafford threw an interception. Sony Michel had a fumble. Arizona was able to score off those turnovers. The Rams, who have been really, really good at responding to scores from the opponent, were not. And then ultimately, this gets deeper into it, but there's a point in the game where the Rams are down by 2 scores. I want to say the score was like 21-8 or and I'll get all the details. But the point is, they decide to try a field goal, 46-yard field goal, which, listen, indoors is a high percentage kick, but it's not a guarantee. And they wind up missing the kick. And I can remember watching the game yesterday thinking to myself, what is this doing for you? Why would you? And again, let's just assume the score was 24-8 at the time, I believe. And I'll have to go back and get all the exact information for you so I don't sound unprepared. But the point is that they were going to get the score to like 24-11 or something like that. And I thought to myself, what are you guys doing? What exactly is it that you guys are doing here? I'm just taking a look at the score. So maybe it was going to get it to 24-13. Just work with me here. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And see, this is the thing about Sean McVay. I'm not saying that other coaches don't have issues in games when it comes to managing and knowing what to do at a particular time. But I just remember watching this going, dude, this is going to take you from 24-10 to 24-13. I think that's now, as I'm thinking about, a little bit more of where it was. But it was 24-10. You need to get it to 24-17. 24-3 is not going to do you any real good here. And this is like late third quarter. And so Stafford throws a pick, isn't as sharp as normal, doesn't have his connection with Cooper Kupp like he normally does. A fumble by Sony Michel happens along the way. A bad coaching decision that turns into a missed kick. I mean, there was so much that went wrong for the Rams yesterday. And I'm trying to decide now through 4 weeks, who are the Rams? Are the Rams the team that started 3-0, beat the Cowboys, beat the Buccaneers? Chicago doesn't really do very much for me. And I'm saying all of this, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm missing some details here. Because you know what? I'm saying the Cowboys. They didn't play the Cowboys. Is anybody going to correct me yet?
You're going, man.
Well, thanks. Beat the Bears, beat the Colts, beat the Buccaneers, and somewhere along the line there, I have the Cowboys on the brain because they
played the Chargers.
Cowboys are looking good. All right, look, stay with me, everybody. It was a long weekend of booze and gummies and Pearl Jam. Just stay with me, everybody. Bottom line is this: the Rams didn't have their A game yesterday. Arizona did. And Browner's prediction that Arizona will win the division, that was the prediction, right, Browner?
Still is.
Okay, and that the Rams will finish last in the division.
Still is.
That was a hot take, but when you see Seattle this past weekend beat San Francisco, and you know that the Rams have a short turnaround because they're going to play Seattle on Thursday night this week, I'm trying to decide who the Rams are. Are the Rams the team that started 3-0 and beat the Buccaneers and had the entire country say they're the number one team in everybody's power rankings? Or are the Rams the team that got beaten up this past weekend by Arizona? So for me, I'll start off with Rams, who lose this weekend to Arizona. Cardinals now 4-0, and I think America is going to take real notice of the Cardinals and start to doubt the Rams. And again, it's not just Stafford. It wasn't just the turnovers, coaching mistakes along the way. You know what the score is. You know how much time is left, why they're choosing to try and kick a field goal that's not some automatic guaranteed 25-yarder. I don't know what they were doing. So my first thought, NFL this weekend, Rams get beat up by the Cardinals. Grande, how about for you?
My first thought of the NFL weekend is that I didn't watch very much of it, but when I came back yesterday, I was surprised at the NFC West because I didn't think the Cardinals were very good. I saw the way they played against the Jaguars. I saw the way they played against the Vikings, and if it wasn't for a terrible kicker, they were going to lose that game. So that really surprised me. And then watching the Niners collapse against the Seahawks, I was like, wait, the Vikings beat the Seahawks. They're not good either. And I base all of my NFL theories and thoughts on how you play against the Vikings because that's how low my bar is for them. And I was genuinely shocked. Like, I know that Jimmy Garoppolo supposedly got hurt. Supposedly. I don't believe that for 1 second. And I was just stunned that the Niners just could not do anything against that Seahawks defense because they're not very good. They don't have any sort of pass rush. Their safeties their corners are just not very good. So to me, that stood out the most. And I don't know about you guys. I had no interest in the Tom Brady homecoming.
Oh, I
None.
had a huge interest.
None whatsoever. Like I
Why
could
not?
not. Why? Because that's not my team. It's not my. It like I hated the Patriots when he was there. Why would I want to then go back and celebrate that fact of the fact that they've dominated for 20 years? You know, that to me, I get the storylines and I get why the NFL loves it, but for me, no interest at all. I didn't even watch it. And it turned out it was a terrible game.
No, I didn't think so. I actually watched the whole thing, was very interested. Of course, I have a man crush on Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And in the end, the second half was really quite fascinating, I thought. Browner, how about for you? I mean, you got, I'm sure you must have watched your Bears yesterday. And here we are on Monday, where the coach of the Bears is still talking about Andy Dalton being the starter when your man Justin Fields played a nice game yesterday.
I'm not worried about that at all. Justin Fields is the quarterback. If Matt Nagy doesn't want to play him, that's on Matt Nagy. I would let that balloon go, and it is what it is. The game last night was terrible. It was just pathetic. Mac Jones. I love Mac Jones. Don't get me wrong. If you throw 19 straight completions and you only have 14 points, don't tell me he was great. He was good. I like him. I think he's going to be great in offense. But 19 straight completions and 14 points, that's all offense. That's the defense having no secondary and basically giving you cushion. I'm more focused on tonight. Period. That's
You know
what
what's
I'm
funny?
focused
Like
on.
Scott, I just like crapped all over the Tom Brady storyline
Mhm.
and how it does nothing for me. How many people in New England care about the storyline I care about tonight? How the Raiders are going to take, how Raider fans are going to take over SoFi. Like I'm
0.
so interested in that story, and no one cares about it over there either. So it's all about where you're at, what you care about, and to me, I'm with Browner. I'm very curious about tonight. I'm very curious to see how good both these teams are supposedly going to be. Are the Raiders really going to be? Are we going to have the Cardinals and Raiders 4-0? The Cardinals
No.
and Raiders. Is that really going to happen? I don't think so, but
No.
we'll see.
I think
I'm
I
very
think
curious
what
about tonight.
we're gonna see. I think the Chargers are gonna win this game because I think what's happened to Denver is about to happen to the Raiders. You're gonna play a team that has the same amount of offensive firepower as you in the same way. Like the Ravens are good offensively, but it's in a different way. I think the Chargers are good in the same way that the Raiders are good passing the ball. And so they can score points in a faster fashion. And I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight. And I think this idea that the Raiders being undefeated makes them like the talk of the town. I think this is going to be a huge moment on Monday Night Football in a packed house favoring the Raiders to watch Justin Herbert put this show on tonight.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. The Broncos, as an example, they played against Baltimore yesterday and they got smoked,
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is Denver was 3-0, but every team that they had played was 0-3. They played against the Giants, the Jets, and the Jaguars. And so of those three teams, they were combined 0-9. Denver was 3-0. Denver played against its first real opponent in Baltimore and got smoked. The difference for the Raiders is that the Raiders in week 1 beat Baltimore. In week 2, they went on the road and they beat Pittsburgh. And by the way, Pittsburgh is clearly not the same team that they were in years past. And there's a whole bunch of controversy now about whether or not Ben Roethlisberger should be benched. If the Steelers aren't going anywhere, should they find out if they have something behind him? A kid named Dwayne Haskins, who was a first-round draft choice years ago from the Washington football team. But then there's that whole Roethlisberger's been here like almost 20 years, and can we disrespect this player? And look, the New York Giants did it a couple of years ago to Eli Manning, if you remember, but they knew who their next quarterback was going to be. So I understand, that the Raiders have 3 wins. I'll call them quality wins because even the game against Miami, they had to be resilient and come from behind and win that game. They're going to play at home, essentially. And Derek Carr has talked about this. When the Raiders came down here, when the Chargers were playing over at Dignity Health Sports Park, the Raiders would come down and they'd say, this is our home away from home. This is a home crowd. And so I think it's going to be overwhelming tonight for the Raiders fans. And the question really is, though, can the Chargers find a way to win after a huge win against Kansas City the week before? Or can the Raiders, in front of their home fans, can the Raiders find a way to continue on and become only the second unbeaten team with Arizona? Right now they're unbeaten, but they've only played 3 games. So I'm actually glad you turned it that way, Browner, because I'm super curious about what happens in tonight's game too.
I think that I think it's going to be very pivotal. This is a very pivotal moment for the Chargers. I think from a national standpoint, this is a very pivotal moment for Justin Herbert and for their new coach to kind of show that this is a different team. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but this is a different Charger team. They're led by a completely different quarterback. and a completely different head coach. And I want to see what Staley does against this Raiders passing attack, which is number 1 in the league. But their defense is also I think like 30th or 29th.
One of the biggest bummers, well, the biggest bummer about tonight's game is the fact that Peyton and Eli Manning will not have a broadcast.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see what Peyton Manning and Eli analyzing John Gruden's offense. Like, would they really criticize him? Because I feel like they have like a buddy-buddy relationship. Would they really have criticized him as hardcore as they did Mike McCarthy? But anyways,
that's a
we
good
just gotta
question.
we gotta watch regular Monday Night Football broadcast tonight.
But I will say this. You said, Browner, that this is an opportunity for the Chargers to kind of show nationally their quarterback, the difference in their head coach. I actually think this is a much bigger moment for the Chargers locally than it is nationally. Here's what I mean. You're playing the Raiders on Monday Night Football. If this were the Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Jacksonville Jaguars, if this were just a run-of-the-mill NFL Monday Night Football game, no biggie. But you're playing against your longtime hated rival, a team that at one time you considered sharing a stadium with and trying to get to LA together. And you're also, really in a battle for fans locally. And while the Rams are the overwhelming brand in LA, the Raiders are right there with the Rams. I think a lot of people feel that way. And the Chargers are way, way, way back. So if the Raiders are that much of a brand in LA and the Chargers are trying to become a brand in LA, when the whole world is watching and when all of Southern California will be tuning in, mostly because there are so many Raider fans, if the Chargers were to beat the Raiders, this would be a huge feather in their cap. Forget about the national story. It would be a huge local story that the Chargers, and I'm putting this in quotes, defended home turf against the Raiders, even though the Raider fans overwhelmed the Charger fans on Monday Night Football. So I think it's a huge storyline locally. There is a national interest, of course, but
I'm ready for Justin Herbert going silent count because because his team can't hear him because it's so loud by Raider fans.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff that goes viral. If all of a sudden like the Chargers have to go to one quick snap count or silent count, that's something that I'm looking forward to tonight. And really, when you look at the way Derek Carr's played, I know it's gone under the radar, but he's been playing really well so far. I mean, his numbers are very impressive. So this could be a big game for him, man. Because he like who was it that came on the show and said if he cured COVID, AIDS, and cancer, Raider fans would still hate him.
Yeah.
Like I think this is a big moment for him to show how real he is.
That was Scott Gilbranson
There
from
you go.
Silver and Black Tonight on 1090 on Friday nights. All right, let me have 1 minute. I want to get back to some other NFL headlines, including, by the way, I want to get back to this Rams-Cardinals thing because I didn't have all my details down. Excuse me for that, but here it goes. That missed field goal that I was talking about, the Cardinals were up 27-13 at the time, 27-13. So if the Rams kick a field goal and make it 27-16, this is with 3 minutes and change to go at the end of the second quarter. If they don't go for the field goal there, actually check that. You know what? It was 34-13. I am having a whole hard time today. You know what I'm going to do? You see what this is right here? This is an NAD injection. Let me talk for a second here about iThrive MD. Because you know what I did yesterday, guys? I was watching this Rams game, at least the first half. I watched it on my phone on the on Red Zone, and I actually had a TV in a bar, and I didn't get to hear it all. And so I'm making excuses for not like having my 10 pages of notes that I normally have for a game. But I'm going to use this as an excuse as well. I'm coming with a bunch of excuses today. I was at this concert venue all weekend long at Dana Point. I saw Pearl Jam on Friday and Saturday night, and this right here is an NAD injection. And I'm going to take this. Can you guys deliver a shot to yourself? I've never done this in my life until now. Have you guys ever delivered a shot to yourself?
Shot of Jack.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about a needle. Have you ever shot a needle into your arm or your butt?
No, dude.
Me neither. But here's the deal. I'm going to ithrive. I was actually there
put
last.
this in your butt right now?
No. I'm going to put it in my arm.
Oh,
But you said butt.
Yeah, well, arm or butt.
okay.
But I went to iThrive last week to get my testosterone treatment. And they also gave me an NAD injection while I was there. But I came home with a bunch of these already preloaded NAD injections, and I take them every other day. Guys, if you are over 40 years old, okay, I've been talking to you for years about testosterone and how important it is to get your testosterone levels right. Well, I didn't even know what NAD was. Well, it turns out that every cell in your body, over the course of time, loses energy. And I'm no expert in this, but I am talking to Dr. Samir Damani a lot about it. And what he said was these NAD injections will just instantly, like rocket fuel, give you so much energy and energize all the cells of your body. So I'm taking these NAD injections, and now when you go to iThrive MD, they give you a complimentary NAD injection. Once you get this, you're gonna be like, okay, I want that more. And Dr. Damani was talking about NFL teams taking these, mixed martial artists taking these. It all passes. You're not going to fail a drug test or anything. These are great. So check this out, guys.
Do it in the butt.
Not in the butt. I do it in the arm. Watch this. Just like this. Right into the arm.
We can't see.
Oh, my bad. Just like that.
Okay, Joe
Just
Biden,
like
way to fake the shot.
No, look, you can see that it's all gone. It's all in my arm now. It's all in my arm.
You got to do that once a week.
I just stuck myself with the thing as I was trying to put the cap back on it. Ow. Anyway, listen, I'm just telling you right now, iThrive MD, this is San Diego's leading anti-aging and performance optimization clinic, and I want you to call to get an appointment. 858-240-1497, 858-240-1497. I want you to live long. I want you to live healthy. I want you to live good. I want you to sleep well. I want you to perform in the bedroom, not with me, but with your partner. And I want you to live a long, healthy life. iThrive MD can help. ithrivemd.com/Kaplan. All right, stick around. I want to get back to the Rams. Browner, I'm sure you want to comment on your Bears. Alex, maybe you want to comment on your Vikings. Stick around, everybody.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Our massive signal covers an area where over 24 million people reside. So, if you're listening or advertising on another station, we have only one question. Why? The new generation of radio, the all-new and mightier 1090.
SDCCU is an engaged community partner. Each year, SDCCU is proud to support many nonprofit organizations throughout Southern California. Our partnerships allow us to help shape the financial lives of many through volunteerism, financial support, and creating public awareness. The result is a big impact on the communities we serve. SDCCU, it's not big bank banking, it's better. Federally insured by NCUA. Find out more at sdccu.com.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Join the Walk for Alls at Balboa Park on October 16th. Every dollar raised stays local to help San Diegans with dementia. Register at alzsd.org/walk.
This year, Jobtoberfest is Wednesday, October 13th. It's the largest annual job fair in San Diego County for people with disabilities. Goodwill is one of our major sponsors.
Goodwill San Diego is proud of our ongoing participation with Jobtoberfest. As an employer of people with disabilities, we recognize the tremendous value they add to the workplace and the importance paid work makes in their lives. Together, we are making good happen.
Up to 30% of COVID-19 patients become long haulers with persistent symptoms months after the infection.
What I've been finding with my patients is that it's taking up to 3 to 6 months for them to recover their endurance, exercise capacity, and get them back to work or to their usual activities of daily living.
What I wasn't able to do was the basic needs, like brush your teeth, take a shower because of the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest.
The symptoms that concern me the most, the shortness of breath. So restrictive. You know, you go through and you just take for granted that, you know, you're gonna breathe. And when that gets taken away, it's a scary thought. Unfortunately, I'm 6 months out now from my diagnosis and I'm still suffering from several of the symptoms.
My experience with the patients I've sent to La Mesa Rehab has been extremely positive. The patients come back with good reports, and when I see them in the office, their exercise capacity has improved dramatically.
I'm getting there because of La Mesa Rehab.
Teatro means theater in Spanish, and in Portuguese, and in Tagalog, and in Italian, and in so many languages. We have a lot of communities, a lot of culture here, so that is the reason why teatro is in the name. The mission of Teatro San Diego is to provide arts education to underserved communities, specifically in schools. Our goal is also in tandem with arts education to provide a professional theater company and dance company so that the community can see themselves reflected on stage at the professional level. Places like Subaru have really been so supportive and have helped us come up with projects like the AMI project.
I was so honored to be at an event a few days ago and heard some of the songs from it. These guys rock. This is just an amazing thing that everyone needs to see.
Catch an all-new local show on the Mightier 1090. Please join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. for the Charity Stripe, where you can get 3 out-of-the-box sports minds whose game is knowing yours. Only on a new generation of radio, the Mightier 1090 AM, SoCal Sports Talk.
Let's talk about a scary word, dementia. Getting lost, even in familiar places, is common in people with dementia, and it can be life-threatening. You can reduce the risk by moving keys and shoes away from the front door. Call 911 immediately if someone with memory loss wanders. For free support, contact Alzheimer's San Diego, 858-492-4400 or alzsd.org.
This year, Jobtoberfest is Wednesday, October 13th. It's the largest annual job fair in San Diego County for people with disabilities. Let's hear from one of our major sponsors.
At Marsty, we recognize the value that individuals with disabilities, as well as those in recovery from substance use, can bring to the workforce, especially to those who want to or are currently counseling those with disabilities and substance use disorder. Marsty is proud to partner with Jobtoberfest.
Nothing about the last year was normal, but you weathered it with grace, ingenuity, and creativity. In empty classrooms and full Zooms, you kept it together when we were apart. For all that you are, for all that you do, we salute you. Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Hard to believe it's already October. The high school football season is flying by, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the action coming up on Friday night. Undefeated Mater Dei Catholic is taking on Bonita Vista. The Crusaders have been dominating their opponents, scoring over 50 points per game in their first 3 games and shutting out St. Augustine last week 35-0. San Diego State football running back Greg Bell tweeted out on Thursday that he'll be checking out this game. The Aztecs have a bye week this week. Another good game happening on Friday night is Carlsbad at Torrey Pines. The Lancers are 5-0 on the season, while the Falcons are 3-1. Their one loss coming from top-ranked Cathedral Catholic. Speaking of the Dons, they've got a big matchup with Madison on Friday. Keep an eye on that one as well. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Here it comes, Jalen Johnson. 3 touchdowns on the night.
Watch out.
Brought down right at the line of scrimmage.
To the end zone. Christakis pulls it in. What a catch!
Over the middle, right there in his hand. They throw down towards the end zone. In stride, touchdown, total. Thibodeau breaks another tackle.
Big run up the middle. Touchdown.
Stadium in San Diego. It has been a sellout the last few days. Loyal SC ready to kick off this season. Stadium in San Diego. Professional soccer has finally arrived.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the Mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the Mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Great friends, it is a Monday afternoon here on Kaplan and Crew along with Grande and the Brown Man. And we were talking a bunch of NFL football here in the last segment. It got turned into tonight's game between the Raiders hosting the Chargers in SoFi Stadium.
Yes.
So we'll both, or all three of us will all jump in here in a matter of moments. We are in the 7 Mile Casino studio. 7milecasino.com is the web address. And you know it's just minutes from downtown San Diego. And that amazing brunch on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Sammy's Restaurant and Bar, all inside 7 Mile Casino. So look, let me jump right in here, fellas. I was talking about this in the last segment, and I got all my details all screwed up, but I had to go back into my notes on my phone to figure out what exactly I was talking about. Here's the Rams and the Cardinals yesterday. And I don't know about you guys. Going into this game, I actually thought the Rams would win the game. And I thought they'd cover. I think the spread was 4, and yeah, it was 4. And I thought the Rams would win the game and cover. And I think mostly because I haven't seen Arizona play other than highlights. And I think I just underestimated how good Arizona is all the way around. You know, I mean, they've added some help at wide receiver. They've added some help at running back. They've added help at defensive end. They're a much better and more complete football team through 4 weeks than I think I gave them credit for. But I also say this, that Matthew Stafford yesterday was not on his A game. And the broadcasters, it was Chris Myers with Daryl Johnston on Fox. They made mention of that along the way, that he just didn't look right. You had an interception from Stafford. You had a fumble from Sony Michel. You know, later in the game, Stafford threw another interception. And if it wasn't for a roughing the passer penalty, there would have been a turnover. But here's what I was talking about where I screwed up all the details. Listen to this. Because as much as I can blame Stafford for an interception or Michel for a fumble, a guy misses a kick, I also put a lot of blame yesterday on Sean McVay. Sometimes in games, he makes decisions that make me scratch my head. Here's this decision right here. It's the third quarter, and Arizona comes out in the second half, and they, in their opening series, they kick a field goal. So it's 27-13 is the score. The Rams get the ball back. And here's what happens. Stafford goes deep to Cooper Kupp. The ball is intercepted, but there's a penalty for roughing the passer. So instead of it being 2nd and 6 and the ball is turned over, it becomes 1st and 10 and the Rams get the ball back. So they start this drive. They're moving down the field. They get to a 4th and 4 at the Arizona 27. Now, remember, you're down 27-13. You're down by 2 touchdowns. 27-13. There is 6:23 to go in the third quarter. And they decide, the Rams do, to try a field goal. Again, 27-13 gets you to 27-16, and now you're down by 11 points rather than being down by 14 points. Now, it's still 2 scores, but the best you could possibly do, at least if you had to kick a field goal and a touchdown, is tie the game. I mean, 2 touchdowns would be better, but the math didn't seem to work. It's 27-13. You're going to kick a field goal to make it 27-16. So here's what happens. 6:23 to go in the third quarter. Matt Gay comes onto the field, attempts a 46-yard field goal, and doesn't make it. And that's where things end, because the next series, Arizona gets the ball and goes on a 9-play, 5-minute drive, 64 yards, scores a touchdown, 34-13. Game, set, match. It's over. So, look, I can blame Stafford for not having his A game. I can blame turnovers. I can blame the run defense of the Rams, because let me tell you something. Later, you guys remember there's that one play where Arizona is down. They're kind of trapped down on the 1-yard line of the Rams, and they wound up having like a 54-yard run right up the middle. And, 54-yard run from the 1-yard line to all kinds of, listen, the run defense was horrible. Everything that could have gone wrong for the Rams yesterday went wrong. Coaching, interceptions, fumbles, lack of run defense, etc. It's guys getting burned in the secondary. So at least for me, my NFL viewership yesterday, prior to tonight's Monday Night Football game, the Rams, really bad. And I don't know, what you guys think about that decision?
I guess it's going to go. I guess it's always going to get down to criticizing Sean McVay. Where I'm going with this is because the inability to adjust. It always seems like he has such a hard time when his game plan doesn't work. And yesterday at the post-game press conference, he's like, I thought we had a solid game plan on defense. Well, clearly you didn't, because they ran for 220 yards on you. Like, what did we talk about last week? Everybody's giving him credit when leading at the half. Therefore, he's 40-0. Yeah, but it also means he's terrible if he's trailing at the halftime. The team's inability to adjust on the fly in game is their weakness. You can point out the run defense. You can point out the lack of run game. You can point at Matthew Stafford's forcing the ball to Cooper Kupp. But what it comes down to is if Sean McVay can't adjust on the fly, this team's going to struggle because not every game is going to go to perfection. Not every game is going to go to game plan. Like that's what has been our biggest gripe about Sean McVay was that it seems like he presses when he's behind. And yesterday, same thing. Why kick a field goal? That makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. But it's just like I just think he gets overwhelmed sometimes when he's trailing. Like he gets panicky.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine it's 3rd and 7. You have Arizona trapped on the 4-yard line, their own 4-yard line. It's 3rd and 7 in this game. You're down 37-13 at this point. And Arizona has a 54-yard run up the middle. 54 yards, dude.
Like, what'd you think they were going to do there? What did you think they were going to do there? They have a comfortable lead. They're just going to draw it up the middle, right?
37-13 was the score, and you give up a 54-yard run straight through the heart of your defense. That was very disappointing. I mean, really, really, that's poor performance yesterday. The whole Rams team, quarterback, running back, defensive line, secondary, coaching, all of it, terrible. And when you say, Alex is putting this up on the screen for those of you that are listening on radio, a tale of two halves. Go for it, Alex.
Sean McVay's career with the Rams leading at the half, 40-0. So when he has a halftime lead, the team finishes 40-0. When he's trailing at the half, he is now 5-15.
That's unbelievable. That's an amazing stat. At the end of the half, the Rams were down 24-13 at the end of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
And the stats don't lie. All right, let's hear what McVay said after the game, because you said, he talked about this in his post-game press conference. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I feel like, of course, I felt like we had a good defensive plan. Those are going to be things that we go back and we look at Jordan, and we'll evaluate ourselves critically, starting with coaches and then seeing, okay, what can we do to put our players in the better positions? David's doing a good job competing, snap in and snap out. I've been pleased with him, and there's going to be a lot of things that everybody to a man can look at, be better, and that's where, we'll get a chance to let that show itself on Thursday.
Oh, they play Thursday.
Yeah, they play this Thursday against Seattle.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he said David. Who's David?
Probably the reporter.
I don't know. He said, wow, he caught me with a name there. I was like, who's he talking about?
Hold on.
Because he wasn't talking about Raheem
I feel
Morris.
like, of course, I felt like we had a good defensive plan. Those are going to be things that we go back and we look at Jordan, and we'll evaluate ourselves critically, starting with coaches and then seeing, okay, what can we do to put our players in the better positions? David's doing a good job competing, snap in and snap out. I've been pleased with him, and there's going to be a lot of things that everybody to a man can look at, be better, and that's where, we'll get a chance to let that show itself on Thursday.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I still didn't know who he was talking about.
They have a David on the team?
I don't know. He got me confused. All right. Well, listen, the Rams and this loss and putting it on not just one guy. This wasn't about quarterback. This wasn't about running back. This wasn't about Aaron Donald and D-line. This wasn't about just secondary. This wasn't just put it all on the coach. This was a full, complete team loss. So that's where my mind is at. Browner, how'd your Bears do yesterday? Let me hear how the Bears did.
And listen, y'all skipping over the main point. I told y'all gonna meet the real Matt Stafford. Y'all did. Told y'all Sean McVay might be overrated. It's appearing to be that way. And I told you they didn't have any run defense because the Bears ran all over them. Here we are. I'm not worried about the Bears. Period. End of story. Justin Fields proved everything wrong that everybody had been saying. Oh, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. And everybody who's going to tell me, oh, they beat the Lions. By the way, you see the Giants win yesterday? Oh, by the way, you see the Jets win yesterday? Like it's a week-to-week league. We said this all last year. We're gonna end up saying it again this year. The Vikings beat the Seahawks badly, and then the Seahawks turn around and beat a team that plays similar to the Vikings. Like this is the NFL. There are really, really, really good teams, and then there's literally everyone else. People were so worried about Kansas City. Oh, Kansas City, they're last in the division. They smoked Philadelphia. Like, because they're not worried about whether or not they'll make the postseason. They know they can turn it on. And when I'm watching Justin Fields yesterday, after about the second quarter, I went, okay, we're fine. He's got it. Matt Nagy can do whatever he wants to do. Because if you put Andy Dalton in, like he says, when Andy Dalton's healthy, he's the starter. That's the fastest way to get fired. Because you put him in, the team's not good. They're not great. But if you put Andy Dalton in, you know what you're going to show? That you're stupid because Andy Dalton's not that good. So you're going to lose to the Raiders. You're going to lose to the Packers. You're going to lose the next 4 or 5 games you got coming up because their schedule is very tough, perceived on the schedule based off last year and the records of right now. So you put Andy Dalton in, who can't really run out of the pocket, who can't really improvise, who's going to try to dink and dunk you, which everybody's sitting on. That's why the Rams killed him. People are acting like we haven't seen Andy Dalton in his offense. The Rams crushed the Bears with 2 good defensive players. Two. So I'm not worried about that, man. Matt Nagy's going to get himself fired. Put him in. Put Andy Dalton in so we can put this to rest. We can get all this out of the way. Put Andy Dalton in. I'm happy. I saw what I need to see.
What kind of Urban Meyer videos does Andy Dalton have of Matt Nagy?
He got to have something.
He got to have something of somebody. And I'm not telling you that Justin Fields is the next coming of whoever.
Me neither, by the way.
Because they did play the Lions, and Jimmy Garoppolo looked like Joe Montana against the Lions. So all I'm saying is, I don't understand the rationale of he's our starter. Like, why is it such a hard conviction about it? Now, it makes no sense to me. Like, I don't think one is clearly better than the other at the moment.
Right.
I truly don't.
Right.
But
at this point, they're
to be
even. But
like, it's Andy Dalton or I'm dead. Like, what? Why? Like, who
You're talking about losing a locker room. I mean, when you're a player and you see Justin Fields, now look, he's 11 for 17 this weekend, 209 yards, no touchdown passes, did throw an interception, ran the ball 3 times for 9 yards, so it's not like he dominated on the ground, but the Bears won. And again, yes, Browner, it's true. People will say, but it's just the lowly Detroit Lions. Honestly, I picked the Lions to win the game. I actually thought the Lions, the way they had played against Baltimore the week before, coming in to play a team like Chicago with a rookie quarterback who last week looked completely lost, I thought, you know what? If the Lions are going to win, this would be a great time for the Lions to pull a win, and Chicago gets the W. And if I'm on that team, I'm in that locker room, I'm going, why would we go back to Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton's a veteran player. If Justin Fields struggles or gets hurt, good news, you got Andy Dalton. But why do we have to go back to Andy Dalton? And by the way, just on a side note to all of us, forget about the Bears for a second. Just look around the NFL. You look at a guy like Mac Jones. You know, people were really impressed with his performance last night. Browner, you made the point early in the show. He had 19 straight completions, but there were only 14 points a show, and they weren't really scoring points, even though they were moving the ball. It's a fair point. However, 19 straight completions for any quarterback in the NFL, let alone a rookie, in a rainstorm, in a pressure situation. So Mac Jones performed. How about this kid from the New York Jets? You know, this guy, for all the ridicule of the Jets, let me tell you something. You've seen the highlight. I saw it when it happened, but you know, he's making this play. He's getting out of traffic. He's telling guys, go deep, and he launches like a 60-yard bomb, hits the dude right in the hands, and the Jets wind up getting their first win. Rookie quarterbacks are playing. And in some cases, they're playing better because every week they're getting more experience.
Right.
This notion of Justin Fields has to be on some sort of a coaching leash is so stupid for a team that's not really going anywhere. This is the year where you get him his experience.
And this is my overall point. If you put him in, what's the purpose of putting Andy Dalton in to do what? To win 6 games instead of 4 games? Like, it doesn't. Andy Dalton cannot take this team to the Super Bowl. So what's the point? Why are you going to then put him back out there so Justin Fields can then do what? Go back to the Trey Lance plan of playing 8 to 10 snaps a game in the red zone? Like, that's not going to – you've seen he can handle it if you put him in positions to be successful. Bill Lazor was calling those plays yesterday, not Matt Nagy. They had 24 points. They haven't scored 24 points with Matt Nagy calling the plays and no defensive touchdowns since he took over.
All right. Listen, I'm with you, man. I mean, listen, you've sold us on Justin Fields. What else? What else from this past weekend? Today's Monday. I had the Rams on my mind and all the mistakes that were made along the way, even though my mind was spinning.
How about
and I screwed up every detail possible. Browner has the Bears on his mind.
Yeah.
What else you got, Alex?
The so-called injury of Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco yesterday, because the Niners were absolutely dominating that first half, but they just could not move the ball. Like, they just couldn't move the ball. And then at halftime, Trey Lance runs out there and the reporter's doing some, I don't forget the reporter, but she was doing some update about the Seahawks and their defense. All of a sudden, she looks up and she's like, "Oh, and Trey Lance is coming in." And then they go to the booth. They're like, "Yeah, they're telling us that Jimmy Garoppolo has a calf strain." And it was like, "Does he?" Or did Kyle Shanahan go up to Jimmy and be like, "Hey, how's your calf?" "Oh, it's good, coach. No big deal." He goes, "No, you're hurt. You're out. Trey, get on in there." Because that was a benching waiting to happen. That I think, like,
Well-
I don't know what's going on there, but I feel like they were just waiting for an excuse to put Trey Lance in.
I love your skepticism, as you can imagine. You know how skeptical I am.
Yes.
I love your skepticism. But if Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't hurt, don't you think we would have heard about it after the game from him? Because he would have gotten benched and pissed.
No,
It
they
depends on
asked
what
him,
kind
like,
of professional he is.
right. Well, they asked him, like, "How's your calf?" And he's like, "It's okay." Like, and he's like, "Was it your Achilles?" He's like, "I don't think so." Like, he didn't even know what to say.
You're kidding me. Like, this is something that, for me, I got done with this Rams game yesterday. Took a little nap, and then I went right into the Sunday Night Football game. And you see, again,
Like, I was in the Bay Area. I was with, 49er fans, so we were
Mhm.
watching that game specifically.
Mhm.
Jimmy G didn't look hurt, dude. Like, he just didn't come out. He had his helmet off. He was on the sideline standing. If I have a calf injury, I'm not standing up. And he's over there. They're
Right.
calling plays. He's got the headset in. He's next to some assistant coach. So they call the plays. They're both looking, and they're right there. Like, he was in the locker room. He wasn't in some boot. He wasn't anything. That's why I was like, this makes no sense to me. And yes, Scott, you have worn off on me. I don't believe anything I see anymore, or I'm told. I always am like, wait, why is he on the sideline then? Like, in pads. Made no sense
If you
to me.
cannot just go to the podium and say we took him out because we wanted to change things up. They've been doing that during the game. Like, they've both been playing. Garoppolo playing more, but to say we didn't really feel like Garoppolo had the feel, so we went with something else to see if it would work. I trust Kyle Shanahan, and I think that he has that level of integrity to say that. To say he's hurt and he wasn't hurt, that's a bad look between the people
I'm
who
not saying
have
he's
the
not.
conversation.
I'm not saying he's not hurt. I just don't know if he's hurt enough. And watching the press
To not
conference,
play.
like, Jimmy was like a pro about it. He wasn't. He was like, "Yeah, I got hurt, the calf. I'm probably gonna be out a few weeks or whatever." And he didn't know what was hurt. He's like, "What about your Achilles?" He's like, "Oh, I don't really know." It's like you would know that right
well,
away.
his father, Kyle Shanahan's father, was legendary for lying about injuries. He really was.
Yeah.
And so, it doesn't surprise me that there's some healthy skepticism about whether or not Garoppolo is really hurt. But I'll tell you this, give credit to Seattle, because the 49ers lost the week before to Green Bay with 37 seconds to go, and the Packers had no timeouts. And that was an Aaron Rodgers comeback win. But the 49ers were playing the Seahawks, and the Seahawks had not looked good at all. And the Seahawks get a win inside the division, and now a short week, they get to host the Rams. I'm telling you, by Friday, the Rams might be a 3-2 football team, and the Seahawks might be a 3-2 football team. And all of a sudden, the division is very much, up for grabs, and yet everybody's going to be looking at Arizona and saying they're the best team inside the division in the NFC West. So I'm glad we're talking about all these things, because yesterday was one of these days where I was coming out of a 2-day Pearl Jam fog. I was watching on the Red Zone on my phone. Then I got to a bar and I was watching on a big screen. And then for the third quarter, I actually drove from Dana Point down to Solana Beach, and I listened to the third quarter of the Rams game on the radio. But by the time I got home for the fourth quarter, this game was in the books. It was over.
Yeah, I red zoned it yesterday. I normally focus on one game or two. I red zoned it yesterday, and you really miss a lot of the details.
You do. I mean, you know who scored and you know who won.
Like, it's great for fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Scott, like you didn't know, like Jimmy was standing on the sideline with
No.
the headpiece in. Yeah.
No. All right, stand by, everybody. I want to talk a bunch of baseball stuff coming up. Stick around. But before I do, I want to remind everybody out there about Corky's Pest Control. 1-800-901-1102 for Corky. Listen, if you have an ant problem, you call Cork. If you have a termite problem, you definitely call Cork. And when you do, you say, Cork, here's my address. And they say, okay, we're looking it up right now. And then they quote you a price, and that's it. Once they've quoted a price for termite fumigation, that is the price. Nobody's coming to your house. Nobody's going to reanalyze. Nobody's going to say, hey, it's a bigger job than we thought. It's going to cost more money. Once they have given you a price on the phone, that is the price. And when it comes to fumigation for termites, Nobody beats Corky's 4-year guarantee. You can call any pest control company around Southern California and ask them if they have a 4-year guarantee. Corky's the only guy that has it. And so besides nobody beating his prices, nobody beats his guarantee. Nobody beats his professionalism. All of his technicians come to your house. They're respectful. They're clean. They're polite. They're friendly. They're smart. And they do all the work on the outside. They don't have to come on the inside of your house. So Corky's Pest Control. Cork tells you now, just Google his one word, Corky's, but I like to sing the phone number. Call 1-800-901-1102.
Corky.
Nice. Very, very good. All right, coming up, let me talk about the Padres.
Oy.
I know.
I got an update.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Great. Padres season comes to an end. Thank goodness. What a disaster. And heads are likely to roll. We'll find out the update that Alex has for us. Coming right back. We're in the 7 Mile Casino Studios on Kaplan and Crew.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Here at the mightier 1090 AM, we don't just bring you SoCal sports. That would be lame. We also bring you the blue and gold Fighting Irish. We're the radio flagship for Notre Dame football for all of Southern California. This is the mightier 1090 AM.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Sponsored by The Barnes Firm, partnering with Shelter to Soldier and saving lives 2 at a time. Visit thebarnesfirm.com/shelter to soldier and help save more lives.
This year, Jobtoberfest is Wednesday, October 13th. It's the largest annual job fair in San Diego County for people with disabilities. CAES is one of our major sponsors.
CASE is excited to be a partner of this year's Jobtoberfest. At CASE, we believe that our people are our most important asset and value the talent that individuals with disabilities bring to our organization. Join our team and launch your career at CASE. Hope to see you there.
Nothing about the last year was normal, but you weathered it with grace, ingenuity, and creativity. In empty classrooms and full Zooms, you kept it together when we were apart. For all that you are, for all that you do, we salute you. Salute to Teachers is proudly sponsored by these charitable companies.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
Hard to believe it's already October. The high school football season is flying by, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of the action coming up on Friday night. Undefeated Mater Dei Catholic is taking on Bonita Vista. The Crusaders have been dominating their opponents, scoring over 50 points per game in their first 3 games and shutting out St. Augustine last week 35-0. San Diego State football running back Greg Bell tweeted out on Thursday that he'll be checking out this game. The Aztecs have a bye week this week. Another good game happening on Friday night is Carlsbad at Torrey Pines. The Lancers are 5-0 on the season, while the Falcons are 3-1. Their one loss coming from top-ranked Cathedral Catholic. Speaking of the Dons, they've got a big matchup with Madison on Friday. Keep an eye on that one as well. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by YourView.
Catch Kaplan and Crew Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. If you've listened to Scott Kaplan the last 20 years, you know one thing. He likes to stir up some A new generation of radio. The all-new and mightier 1090.
From fitness to medical technology, explore how people are leading healthier lives on Your Health. Join Erica Cardenas as she introduces you to health experts and discover how our daily choices affect our well-being. Plus, learn simple tips for healthier living. Your Health, Sunday at 4:30 p.m. on YourView and YourView.com. Brought to you by La Mesa Rehab, improving the lives of those afflicted by chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Learn more at lamesarehab.com.
COVID vaccines are safe, convenient, and free, and they are effective at protecting you against the coronavirus. I'm Dr. Akilah Weber, a pediatric gynecologist and state assembly member, and I got the vaccine to protect my family. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and everyone who receives the vaccine helps us get one step closer to returning to normal. Go get your vaccine today. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a site near you. Do it for yourself, your family, and for our community.
Live soccer is back. Watch Orange County Soccer Club, OC's highest level of professional soccer, live on YourView. Watch Orange County SC take on the Phoenix Rising FC Wednesday, October 13th at 7. Watch world-class players and future stars. Transform your summer with the new family game night and outdoor fun all season long. Live soccer is back. Orange County SC versus the Phoenix Rising FC Wednesday, October 13th at 7 on YourView.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being, and we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Shelter to Soldier is 9 years young with a mission to save lives 2 at a time. We're adopting dogs from local shelters, training them for post-9/11 combat veterans, and we're able to donate these trained dogs to deserving veterans in need.
You know, I was in a very dark place. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I really needed an immediate help. We don't know if tomorrow is going to be there for us.
Shelter to Soldier is a nonprofit, and we're able to do the work that we do because of you, the community. Whether it's an individual donating $5 or whether it's a corporate donor like the Barnes firm that's supporting us in sponsoring multiple dogs that are going to make an impact in the veterans' lives in need.
Him by my side 24/7 has completely turned my life around. It's not just saving both of our lives, it has made an impact on myself, Nigel, my family, my work. So yes, they definitely have saved our lives.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Save the Stork is an organization that equips pregnancy resource centers across the nation so that these pregnancy resource centers can reach more women facing unplanned pregnancies and provide them with holistic care, compassionate choices, and just an abundance of resources to support their decision to choose life. Save the Stork has been around for about 10 years. Most people know us by our Stork buses. A Stork bus is a mobile medical unit that's equipped with the state-of-the-art medical equipment as well as very knowledgeable and experienced medical professionals.
The buses enable them to reach areas where maybe there's not a pregnancy care center nearby. We are here to walk this journey with you so that you're not alone and to help you find your heart in all of this. And that means and that you're going to make a choice that is truly going to be something that years from now you're going to be proud of.
Attention, all dogs, cats, horses, tortoises, birds, pigs, and all other pets. Get your family members to sit, stay, and watch Animal Zone every Saturday at 9 p.m. right here on this channel and at animalzone.org.
Tune in Saturdays at 9 p.m. to watch Animal Zone right here on YearView.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
When you want to celebrate with great food, you need to find the perfect spot.
And we found it. One of our favorites today on Su Vida.